Today we'll be working on a 2005 GMC Sierra 1500 with a 5.3 liter engine. Because the Silverado, Sierra, Tahoe, or Suburban are very similar, this video will cover the process for the 1999 through 2006 models. There are only a few required tools to complete this job, and it will only take about 30 minutes to an hour to finish. The tools required to complete this project are a 15mm, a 10mm, an 8mm socket and ratchet, or the same metric sizes in an open or closed end wrench. We will also use a pry bar.
In our situation, I wanted to test by trying to start the truck to determine what was wrong. I knew the battery was fully charged via a battery charger the day before. There was no indication of power on the voltmeter in the dash, even though my son said the truck had just stumbled then stopped. So let's get to work. I pulled the hood release inside the vehicle and then opened the hood.
The first step is to disconnect the negative battery terminal using an 8mm wrench. In my case, you can use a socket and ratchet if it'll fit. If you have the theft lock audio system on your vehicle, be sure the lockout feature is turned off before disconnecting the battery. Then we will remove the serpentine belt using a 15mm socket and ratchet. Make a mental note of the belt routing, or ensure you have a belt routing diagram to route the belt after the alternator is replaced. I used a ratchet to rotate the tensioner and release the belt tension. Then I removed the belt from the alternator pulley. Next, disconnect the output wire using a 10mm wrench. And remove the electrical connector, which is on top of the alternator. The next step is to remove the two mounting bolts for the alternator. They are circled in red. Using a 15mm socket and ratchet or a 15mm wrench. Once the bolts are out, carefully pry between the alternator and its mount on both sides to loosen it. You should be able to remove the alternator from the engine after prying. You can have the alternator tested at AutoZone or O'Reilly's to ensure it is bad before replacing. Okay, now we'll reinstall the new alternator using the two mounting bolts and a 15mm socket with ratchet. Torque the two mounting bolts to 37 foot-pounds. Connect the output wire using a 10mm socket and slide the rubber boot back over it. Go ahead and reconnect the electrical plug while you're there. Finally, install the serpentine belt using a 15mm socket and ratchet. Rotate the tensioner pulley and use the belt routing diagram under your hood or in your owner's manual. Route the belt through the pulleys. You should be able to put the belt on with your free hand. Reconnect the negative battery terminal and check the charging voltage to verify proper operation of the new alternator. You can connect a voltmeter to both the negative and positive battery terminals, or in our case we'll use the voltmeter inside the truck. Check to ensure it's between 12.5 and around 15 volts. It should not go above 15 volts. Once finished, go ahead and close the hood. You're ready to go. If this information was helpful, please like and subscribe to my channel.